Craig of the Creek might look like a simple cartoon, but in reality, the story goes way beyond just kids' adventures. Today, I'm going to do a full recap of Craig of the Creek from start to finish. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Let's kick things off with the story of how the creek was built and the legacy of its founders. It all begins at the very start. Before the creek became the place we know today, it was nothing more than empty land deep in the woods. Back in the 1970s, 3 kids, Bradley, Kathy, and Pradeep, stepped into those woods. They were the first to found what would become the creek. At first, they were just regular kids playing around with nothing but imagination. But little by little, they built a fort, created zones across the creek for all kinds of games, and even came up with a system of rules, like kingdoms with borders and laws to keep things in order. But over time, cracks began to show. The new kids didn't follow the rules. Soon, the creek was split into 2 rival sides, and a capture the flag war began. Whoever held the flag would control the creek. But instead of bringing unity, the game unleashed pure chaos. Alliances collapsed, friendships fell apart, the creek became a full-blown battlefield, and one by one, kids started walking away from it all. Even the original founders, yes, the legendary 3, eventually left the creek behind. They abandoned their once great fort, leaving behind their treasures, their stories, and a message for the next generation brave enough to step into the creek. At that time, there was a legend about a wish maker, a mysterious tool created long ago by middle school students. This tool, known as the cootie catcher, was said to have the power to grant any wish just by playing with it. Some kids actually used it and ended up gaining super physical strength or extreme beauty or the ability to never sleep, but the wishmaker hid it away in an unknown place. There was a girl named Hannah who was searching for it, but she never found it. And when summer came to an end and she moved out of the house, she left behind her notebook hidden inside with all the information she had. The beginning of the Kings of the Creek era. A new phase of the creek had started, and the kids began to organize themselves in a different way. During this time, there were 3 kids hanging out in the area. Nerdy friends who loved watching anime. Kenneth especially enjoyed wearing costumes of his favorite anime characters. But when a new bridge was built in the city, the creek was split, and Kenneth was separated from his friends. He felt lonely and sad. However, the kids on the other side began to admire his anime outfits and started playing with him. And after discovering the heart of the forest, Kenneth eventually became the king of the creek. He established a monarchy of his own bloodline and passed the throne to his sister Cheyenne before moving on to high school. Before leaving, he hid a treasure deep in the forest, a treasure that could only be reached by collecting 26 cubes. His friends remained on the other side of the creek, stuck in their old world, trapped between childhood and the future. Then, Cheyenne took over as ruler, but she also grew older and was about to enter high school. It was time to pass the crown to her younger brother, Xavier. Xavier had 2 friends, Omar and Maya. They were always hanging out and having fun together. But when Cheyenne asked Xavier to choose one of them as his royal assistant, he couldn't decide. So he forced them to battle it out. Omar didn't want to fight, but Maya struck first, and Omar won the duel. Still, he refused to be Xavier's assistant because of his selfish behavior. He ran away from the castle, and there he met Green Poncho, who began training him in martial arts. At that moment, Xavier was crowned the new king of the creek, with Maya at his side as royal assistant. But Omar was crushed by Maya's betrayal. She eventually returned and told him to apologize to Xavier so he could be forgiven. Omar refused. Right then, Xavier appeared, and so did Green Poncho, threatening Xavier. But Xavier revealed her true identity. She was a high school student. He threatened to expose her to her friends, that she was still playing with little kids, so she vanished, and Omar fled. From that moment on, Omar became the Green Poncho, protector of the bridge, guardian of the divide between the north and south sides of the creek. Meanwhile, King Xavier began enforcing his rule over his private zone within the creek. Let's talk now about the characters' past. We begin with the Williams family, starting with Grandpa Earl and Grandma JoJo. They're a loving, understanding couple. JoJo is a city council member, and back in the 60s, she was active in the civil rights movement. As for Earl, he loved farming, and it's clear he worked in agriculture at some point. Earl and JoJo had 2 sons, Dwayne and Darnell. The 2 brothers were always competitive, especially during camping trips with their dad. Dwayne always gave it his all, while Darnell didn't care much. Because of that, their dad rewarded Dwayne with a special axe, something he still has today. Despite the rivalry, the two shared a genuine brotherly bond. As they grew up, they both got married. Dwayne married Nicole. Their relationship was stable and supportive. They were a great team when it came to parenting. Nicole is organized, firm, and fun when it counts. They trust each other's judgment and guide the kids with calm love. They had 3 children: Bernard the eldest, Jessica the youngest, and of course, Craig, the star of our story. Craig shared a special connection with his dad, especially the time he bought him that bike. Craig loved that bike until one day it got stolen. When Jessica was about to be born, the parents took some time away from the chaos to focus on the delivery. They left the kids with their grandparents. Craig, excited to become a big brother, spent that time bonding deeply with Grandpa Earl, who taught him all about building and inventing. The parents returned with baby Jessica. Craig held her in his arms, and it was clear he adored her from the start. Later, when she started preschool, the other kids would steal her snacks. So Craig invented a special kind of snack that no other kid could steal. And from that day, he kept making them for her. As the family grew, they had to move to a new house. Each child needed their own room, but Craig hated the idea. When they arrived at the new place, he refused to unpack, showing just how upset he was. Not long after, while playing with Jessica, she accidentally tossed her favorite toy into the woods. Craig ran in to rescue it and stumbled into a whole new world, filled with kids who formed their own tribes and communities. There were also villains, pirates who scared and terrorized the kids. That's where Craig met Kelsey. She helped him escape the pirates. It was their first encounter, the start of a powerful friendship.
She was actually a mercenary at the creek, helping kids in exchange for money. But before we continue their journey, let's talk about Kelsey, a brave, book-loving girl who lives with her dad, Neil. Her mother passed away a few years after she was born due to an unknown but deadly illness. She left a book for Kelsey to read whenever she missed her. Her father filled the void with love and support, giving her a pet bird and a sword, one she carries throughout the series. Their relationship is built on trust and mutual respect. Back to our story, Craig found an old book in their new home left by previous residents. It talked about a legendary wishmaker. Craig set out on a quest to find the wishmaker and return to his old home. He returned to the creek, now in chaos, taken over by pirates. There, he found Kelsey again and asked for her help. After several failed attempts, they were both captured by the pirates. And that's when they met JP. JP is sort of a lone wolf. His mom is a pilot, often away, but she still loves him deeply. His dad lives in Canada, they're divorced. Still, his dad writes him letters and once sent him a blue hockey jersey, showing that he still cares. His older sister plays the role of caretaker, a strict, organized, loving presence in his life. JP's family dynamic is non-traditional, physically distant parents and a sister with a motherly role. That's why he's so close to his friends. Craig and Kelsey are his second family. Now back to the adventure. JP worked for the pirates as a torturer, but that wasn't his real nature. So after some heartfelt moments, he joined Craig and Kelsey in their escape. Their journey led them to the Wishmaker, but just before Craig could make his wish, Serena, the pirate leader, got there first. Her wish? To flood everything. The world began to collapse. In a final battle, Craig and Serena fought fiercely. Kelsey joined in for an epic showdown. During the fight, Serena revealed the truth. She only wished to flood the world to create a new home because, like Craig, she missed where she came from. Craig understood her pain and managed to calm her down. Everything returned to normal. In the end, Craig accepted his new home. He unpacked his boxes and began drawing a map of the creek with his new friends. Speaking of the map, this thing is packed with detail and we're using it to break down the world of the show. It's split into 2 zones, south side and north side. Most of what we know happens in the south, but later Craig hits the north and finds all new areas. Now the map shows a bunch of important places, and here are the big ones. Elder's Rock, where the older kids hang out. Trading Tree, a key spot where kids trade stuff. Stump Kids Turf, the main zone for Craig and his crew. Xavier's Kingdom, the royal palace with a whole backstory. Cardboard City, a city made completely out of cardboard. And yeah, there's way more, but those are the big ones you've got to remember. This is where Craig's real adventure kicks off, diving into the creek, starting his legendary map. He and his friends head into uncharted territory, swarmed by bugs, totally lost, but they push through. That's when Craig draws the first piece of his map. Then he brings Jessica to the creek, but she's not impressed at all. Kelsey loses her precious book, so the crew teams up to help her find it. Their bond just gets stronger. Later, they meet a new girl, Wildernessa. At first, things get tense, but in the end, they all become friends. Craig keeps expanding his map, eventually stumbling into a whole underground society ruled by the Sewer Queen. They get lost down there for a bit, but manage to earn her trust and head back to the surface.
Next, Craig discovers Cardboard City, adds that to the map. Then he sets out to explore the area under the bridge, a place no one from the south ever dared go. That's when they first meet the Green Poncho. He chases them off and sends them back where they came from. Later, Craig goes exploring again, this time with Jessica. After some wild moments, Green Poncho steps in to save them. And that's when Green Poncho goes, "Didn't I tell you not to come here?" And Craig shoots back, "We didn't come through the bridge, I was just out with Mom." And it also shows just how close Craig and Jessica really are. As time goes on, Craig's adventures shape him into a real leader. Tight bonds, big missions. He even stages a symbolic funeral for Bobby, honoring his move away from town, and spends a cozy day with his mom, building a pillow fort at home. Eventually, the trio returns to the bridge to see Green Poncho again, this time bringing him ice cream. He accepts it, tells them he guards the bridge. No one crosses north to south, but this time he lets them through. Then things heat up. The honeysuckles steal Craig's map and send it to the king. So the gang goes full stealth mode, sneaking into the kingdom. Craig battles his way through and takes back the map, but Mia breaks Kelsey's favorite sword in the fight. Soon after, Craig uncovers a secret hideout, the Founder's Keep. He starts digging into ancient Creek history, solving riddles, uncovering lost treasures, learning the truth behind the old war. Sometime later, Craig returns to the bridge, where Green Poncho finally opens up and shares his full story. His past with Maya, his fallout with the king, all of it. And yeah, a real friendship starts to form between them. Then Craig sneaks into a contest the king's holding, but gets exposed. The crew's tossed into a crazy maze, but with teamwork, they escape. Omar, yep, Green Poncho, then shares his story with the Creek Kids, gearing them up for what's coming. JB enters a pencil-breaking competition and wins it like a champ. Craig joins a cooking contest and serves his classic snack, the one he used to make for Jessica. The family heads out for a camping trip. Craig learns more about his dad and uncle's bond. Winter hits and Craig gets hyped for a snow day, but the school doesn't cancel, so he tries making it snow himself. Total fail. Even so, they kick off Snowy Creek adventures. They notice the kids are gone from the creek because of the freezing weather, and during all that, they're trying to stop Xavier from launching his attack on the south. Craig ends up stuck in the snow with Wildernessa, and sparks kind of fly. And so, Craig and his crew set up a Winter Olympics, built a snow house, and played some hockey together. Now we're hitting a big moment. When Candy disappears from the creek, chaos breaks out and Xavier takes full control. Craig and the crew confront him and Xavier makes an offer. He'll bring back the candy, but only if he gets crowned King of the South too. Craig says no, but sadly, the others say yes. Now, Xavier tightens his grip on the creek and all the candy supplies. He even kicks Craig out. They head over to Xavier's house and meet his sister and older brother. And that's when they uncover his backstory, how he grew up and why he acts like this. And now, they prepare to take him down. That same night, Craig breaks into Xavier's room and challenges him to a game of capture the flag, just like the ancient founders did. The rule's simple: loser leaves the creek. Each team tries to grab the other's flag and bring it back to base to win. Craig rallies everyone for one final showdown. Everyone gathers and the battle begins. After epic fights and crazy chases, Craig storms Xavier's castle. They go head to head while Kelsey faces off with Maya. Craig grabs the flag, races back, and makes it just in time. He wins. Craig defeats the regime and Xavier's rule is finally over. Maya, crushed by everything, leaves the creek and goes home to focus on baseball. But she returns for her cape and finds a strange cube. We'll talk more about that in a bit. As for Xavier, he walks home sad and defeated, but starts plotting revenge. With help from his big sister, he starts training hard to reach the heart of the forest. Meanwhile, Craig is back to exploring, heading north for new adventures. He hears about the heart of the forest and the cubes scattered around the creek that unlock it. He finds the first from the rollerbladers, then one from Tien in a cooking contest, another from the glowing moss village, one from Big Baby, another from the twin brothers, and a final one from the slime factory. At the same time, Xavier's watching from the shadows. Later, Bernard shows up at the creek. Overwhelmed by the pressure of college, he dives into games and joins the elders, trying to escape it all. Eventually, thanks to Craig, he faces his fear and embraces the idea of college with confidence. While Craig's out looking for the next cube, just as he finds it, a mysterious new figure snatches it away. They chase after this unknown thief and suspect Maya. Omar confronts her, thinking she's the one who stole the cube, and tension builds. Then suddenly, the real real thief shows up. It's the king himself. Only one cube is left now, and it's in Maya's hands. Craig and the crew head straight to her house in a rush, like a full-on race to grab it. When they arrive, she slams the door on them. They talk it out, then she steps outside and tells them she tossed the cube into the river. Everyone tries searching the river, but eventually gives up, except Craig. He keeps searching, and the king does too. In a surprising twist, the king offers a truce. Craig accepts, and they go to the king's house, and realize they actually have a lot in common. Together, they team up to find the last cube, and thanks to Craig's smarts and the king's tech, they finally locate it. Now the cubes are complete. It's time to head to the heart of the forest. But just as they arrive at the gate, the king betrays them. He wanted to stay friends, but their teasing pushed him too far. Then chaos. The drones go rogue, attacking everyone because of a glitch. They run, but a weird sticky substance grabs Craig's friends and pulls them inside. Then the goo monster goes after Craig. Xavier's brother, watching it all on drone cams, races to the rescue. He shows up right on time and saves Craig. Craig continues to the heart and begs it to bring his friends back, and it listens. And just like that, both of his friends return, safe and sound, right by his side. Turns out the heart wasn't some treasure, it was a symbol of all the memories, all the friendships, all the bonds made in the creek through the years. And in the end, they all hug it out and head back home. Next up is season 6, and yeah, it's not packed with big events, but it's the show's final wrap-up with just 10 episodes. Now let's talk about the most important ones. A swarm of bees invades Craig's room, so he calls the pros, but they tell him it'll take 10 days to fix the problem. So Craig decides to sleep at a different friend's house each night. He starts with Kelsey's place, but her family wakes up way too early, and he can't catch a break. Then it's JP's house, where he talks and walks in his sleep, and his sleep personality is just straight up annoying. Next, he crashes at Toman's place, and that night's a blast, full of late night video games. Then comes Ren, and they go on an epic fantasy adventure across dimensions. After that, it's Bobby, and they spend the night goofing off and causing chaos. Finally, Craig heads to Eliza's castle, where they're thrown into competitions for a mystery prize, which no one ends up winning. In the end, the bees are gone and Craig finally gets to sleep peacefully in his own bed. Then, the first king of the creek, Xavier's older brother, returns to his old friends. He helps them recover the Elder Rock and hangs out just like the good old days. We also get an episode focused on Kelsey and her sweet bond with her dad. She looks back on beautiful memories with her mom and finds the old book her mom wrote for her. It becomes this warm keepsake and a forever source of inspiration. At the end of the series, it's all done. Bernard packs up and heads off to college. Everyone gathers at the creek and Craig starts noticing. The kids are growing up. It's like the beginning of something new. Craig finally finishes his full map and hangs it in the middle of the creek. Now everyone can see it and explore the place easier. They all celebrate together, taking a big group selfie as the show officially comes to a close. That's where the story ends. But not for me. The characters grew up. Now they're teens, each facing life in their own way. Craig got into a relationship with Vanessa, but he never lost his love for adventure. That spark's still in his heart. JP now runs a fast food joint, and his bond with Omar's stronger than ever. Omar's grown into a real solid guy. Kelsey hasn't changed much, still that bold leader, but now she's an author, putting the world into words. And the best part of it all? Their friendship stayed strong, no matter how much time passed. So after finishing the whole cartoon, honestly, it was fun as a cartoon, no doubt. But man, most of the episodes felt super random, especially during the first 3 seasons. The real storyline didn't kick off until the end of season 3, and that kinda bugged me. I had to wait so long just to get to the major plot points. And to be real, the ending, it didn't hit as hard as I hoped. It could have been way more powerful, especially if they leaned into the magic or fantasy elements more. See, the problem is, the magic in the show isn't actually real. It's just part of the kid's imagination. But here's the weird part. In the movie, we actually saw real magic happening. Yet in the episodes, it was never like that. That kinda confused me. Like, is magic supposed to be real in their world or not? Honestly, they could have built the whole show around the idea that magic actually exists in their world, and that would have been epic. Now, aside from that, the rest of the show was cool. The character development was solid, even if it was a little slow. And the visuals? Super nice. Especially when you watch it all back to back in one big recap, just like I did. Hope you enjoyed the recap and that I managed to break it down in a smooth and clear way for you. My rating? Gotta say it's a solid 6.5 out of 10. Alright, that's it for now. Catch you in the next video. Peace out.